Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome friends, and thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my latest video. And today I am continuing to work on my vintage grungy journal start to finish. And I believe yesterday when we left off, I was still working on ephemera for different pockets and tuck spots in the journal, and this was one of the ones I had talked about. And I did take off the seam binding that was on top of it just because I do want to tuck it under this page topper. But I decided just to add a little bit more to the tag just to make it kind of fit a little bit more in with this current journal. I don't really have a lot of other red stuff in here, but I do have black and kind of the vintage cream colors. And so I thought what I could do is just to kind of tie it in with some of the other stuff, is I still have I have lots of these little strips left from that scrapbooking paper of the ruler, and I thought maybe I could just put it on the tag and then maybe put a piece of scrap lace on top of it, some eyelash trim, and another one of those Tim Holtz labels. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to this tag just to kind of make it look like it matches a little bit more in with this journal. So again, welcome everyone. Hopefully you are all doing well. I'm hoping to get close to being done with the ephemera pieces today for this kit, or not this kit, but this journal that I'm working on. Hopefully it happens. We'll just see how long it takes to record and get everything done. It's still kind of a cooler day in Minnesota, but not bad for this time of year. It's still above freezing, which is always a good sign. Yesterday we got a lot of rain and had icy roads and everything, and then it did snow a little bit on top of that rain overnight, which makes roads even worse. Part of our yard is kind of a skating rink because there's not a lot of snow in the yard, and then you add the rain that happened and then a little bit of snow on top of it, and it's a little bit of a skating rink. It's pretty slippery. Luckily we didn't really have too much to have to shovel this morning when we woke up, so that was kind of nice. It was kind of a quick shovel, and thank goodness there wasn't a lot because it was heavy snow since there was so much moisture in it. But it went pretty fast. My husband took half the driveway and I took the other half, and then he was nice and did all of our steps down to our lake. We have our lake cabin's actually on a pretty big hill, so we have quite a few steps going down to the lake. So there's what that looks like. I like how that looks. And then I forgot to also mention on the back side of this, it was just a black tag. While I was waiting for my craft room to heat up today, I did just tear out some tea-dyed paper and I stamped one of the Sam Poole stamps with a date on it on the bottom, just to have a space to write on the back of that. And so again, that's going to go in this tuck spot up here. And then we're going to work on this pocket also. But there is the back side of this one, and I just wanted to show you what I was going to put underneath here. We'd already decorated this one earlier. And so quite a while ago, I was in that Smash, that small paper pad collab. And one of the things I did is I had like 6x6 paper pads that I was trying to use up. And so what I had done is I had taken a whole 6x6 paper pad and I folded it in half. And I sewed around the edges, and then I did a little hole punch right here to make a pocket. And I made quite a few of them, and I decorated them at the time using bunches of leftover pieces in my stash. And so I made, I decorated the front, and you can see there's a little tuck spot right there. And the image came from one of Tsunami Rose's digital kits of photographs, but I shrunk it down at the time. And then I added in some ephemera pieces, some tags, and these came from some sort of scrapbooking paper pad, and it doesn't look like I inked the edges, so I'll do that right now while we're talking. So that's where all the bits and pieces came from, music paper, and this was, again, a little vintage postcard that Probably it looks like it, feeling it, it came from some sort of scrapbooking paper pad that I had that I cut, you know, cut out the postcard from it. I'm thinking this one feels like one of the Tim Holtz ones that came from one of his ephemera kits. I know this one came from a scrapbooking paper pad. And so those just tuck behind here. And then at the time I had added kind of a grungy leftover remnant. And then also this word that said perfect moments, that also came from a paper pad that I cut out. So there's the pocket on the inside. And what I ended up putting on the inside of this one at the time is I had like some ledger paper that I had printed off, and I printed it off on darker colored paper. And then also I used on the back side, whatever company it was from, and which I can't remember anymore. They had like a grungier, darker paper on the back. So I stuck that in here at the time for some writing space. So I don't really have to do anything for this page or this ephemera piece, but I wanted to show you guys and explain it the best that I could. And again, I apologize. I don't know where the ledger paper came from in there. I have so many digital kits. I just don't remember that one. But I do know that one was from Tsunami Rose. I just thought that little girl was so cute. All right, I just had to turn the camera off for a second. It looked, my battery died, and then also my husband was texting kind of a group chat with me and my family, so I had to take care of that. Hopefully everybody's done chatting, but I don't know if my phone will go off again. So we just finished, I finished talking about the back of this little envelope thing that I added to my journal, and this is done. So then the next step is to decorate this page, and then I also have the middle page of the signature to decorate, and then I think we're almost done. So this page has this little lace pocket that we did. It also has the paper clip on both sides that needs items to add to it. And again, earlier today when I came up to warm up the craft room and turn on the heat, while it was heating up, I did go ahead and just glue down some random ephemera pieces from my stash. And then I also had used the stencil that we've used a couple of times in these videos. Again, it's the Prima one, and I just inked them a little bit to add some interest to the back. And of course, I'm hoping to add some laces and trims to some of these. I'm not sure, again, if I'm going to use all of these or not in this journal, but since I was filling up the page and sewing, I just decided to do the whole bit at the time. And some of these I don't know where the companies came from. They were so long ago when I printed them. Like this one that I'm cutting out right now was one that I had used in some little pockets that I created. And then I ended up taking the items that I put in the pocket out. They were like fabric pockets. And I put some little mini notebooks and stuff in them when I was handing them out in Happy Mail. And I ended up taking out all the stuff and putting something else in the pocket when I sent out the Happy Mail to someone. And so this was just a piece that was in there. I want to say it maybe came from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I have that one. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and cut out the rest of the stuff, but I was thinking this one might look kind of nice just with that little peak of color in the pocket. So that's what I was thinking on that one. I think that was the only one that I had a for sure thought on. This one that I'm cutting out right now, the little vintage lady, I think someone else gifted this to me in some Happy Mail, so I don't know. And it was just the image again. It was probably in a pocket or an envelope or something. And so I just glued it down to my paper and sewed around it. So that one, this one, I'm not quite sure where this one came from. It's a digital, and I think whoever printed it on like a off-white or cream colored paper. So it it has a little bit darker vintage feel to it than, than a lot of digitals when we print them off, just because of the type of paper it was printed on. I'm just going to distress the edges a little bit, and then I'm going to re-ink them. Since I'm kind of going for that grungy, distressed look. And let's see, what else can I cut out here? I might as well cut everything out, and then we'll maybe go back and decide where we're putting them all. And then maybe add some laces or trims or some sort of embellishment to them. This one I do know is an older Tsunami Rose digital. This one I've had in my stash for a long time. I like the little teacup. It can go with so many different vintage style journals. And this one I thought I might just corner around. Hopefully I sewed it so that I could corner around the edges. That was what I was thinking when I was sewing around the edges, that I'd be able to corner around it a little bit. And then this image, this tag image, again, I don't remember. It's from like someone's website or Facebook page that offers freebies, and I want to say like lilac and lavender or something similar to that. If I happen to find it when I'm editing this video, if I see if I still have it, I'll be able to tell you who it's from if I still have it on my computer. So I will try and link it below if I still have it. But it was something like that, if I remember. It's tough now that there's so many companies out there that have digitals, but I just can't remember. When I first started junk journaling, I know I used to like the ladies that were so kind enough to offer freebies in some of our different Facebook groups and stuff. It was really nice because then I got a chance to like kind of try out some of their digitals before I actually bought any from anybody. So I'm even thinking that maybe even this one from Tsunami Rose might have been free too, because this one's an older one that I've had in my stash. And I think I've used it before, and I just decided I'm just adding some more, making it looking a little bit more grungier by adding a little more ink to this one. So yeah, I think I got all those. And let's see. Cut this one out real quick. So yeah, when I had to turn off the camera because the battery was low, I also, like I said, my husband texted me, and he was texting my mom and dad, and then I think some of my sister's kids. My husband does wildlife photography. That's kind of like his hobby, or one of his hobbies is wildlife photography. And he's done it long before I met him. And he was outside earlier today taking pictures of, we have like a weasel or an ermine. They're little, in the wintertime they're white with this cute little tail with a dark end on it. And in the summer they're brown. So they kind of change colors in the winter. And so he was out taking pictures of him. This little weasel hangs out in our wood pile. And he's new to us. We have lots of critters in our yard. And we've seen these types of short-tailed weasels or ermines before, like when we visited like the Saxon Bog up by the Duluth, Minnesota area. They have them up there. And we've had them when we've been working too out in western North Dakota. But it was kind of cute that, my husband came down one day, like back in, I think it was early November or something, when he came across the ermine. It maybe even was even in October in our wood pile. And so he's been kind of encouraging him to stay around. I think he likes the wood pile because many of you guys who live in, if you live out in the woods or out in the country, mice can be kind of prevalent outside. And so that's kind of the main food source for the ermine. So he hangs out in our yard because of that. I think we do feed the birds, so we do have some wild bird food that attract the mice, and then they hang out in the wood pile too once in a while, unfortunately. But not sure if everybody likes mice stories or not, but we have the mice in the wood pile, but we also put up mice traps. We have a garage that's not connected to the house, and the mice, for whatever reason, can get in there. And so we put up mice traps. So my husband does take out the mice, and he puts them out for the ermine as kind of a treat whenever we have mice, dead mice. And so he gets kind of excited when he sees Kelly and knows that he probably has a mouse for him because it's an easy meal for him. So I do like that in this pocket. And I want to put something on, some sort of decorative element, you know, whether it's a little applique. Normally I'd want to put it over here, but this has like greetings from, it says Fresno, California maybe. I don't really want to cover up that. You know, maybe I could add some sort of tab right here in the corner. I'm trying to see what, you know, miscellaneous laces and trims I have hanging out on my desk here. If I were to put like a tab, sew another tab on the end just to add a little something. Or I could just put a little decorative element. I could use that as a tab too. Do I have any flowers left? Let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, this is one of my favorite trims. I like that trim. I had it from before, and then I think I got some in a Happy Mail from a friend. That fun piece from Lavish Laces. I also have this paper clip that I made a long time ago. Wonder if I could just stick that. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think I'm just going to stick with that. It's already done. That'll make life easier. So I'll put that in that pocket. We already decorated this writing page. Here we have the paper clip. So let's put something in the paper clip. I don't know if I'll use this teacup one or not. Yeah, I don't mind that. I kind of like that actually in there. I think the only thing I'm going to do, but I'll do this off camera, is I do want like a topper on it of some sort. So I think I'll just cut this down, and then again off camera I will sew that down across the top just to add a little interest to it. I think that would look really cute. And I still have some of these little flowers left. I might add one of those to the bottom here. I think these ones came, I can't remember these white ones. They either came from Gisela at Lavish Laces or they came from Kim at Angel Dreams Crafts. Kim, they both have had flowers stuff in their shop. I know I have off-white ones for sure that came from Gisela, but I know Kim has gifted me some too in the past from her shop, and also when I was on her design team. I'm just trying to find some eyelash trim. I think I might put a little eyelash trim underneath that before I glue it down. So yeah, I think later today, like I said, my husband was out taking pictures of the ermine. And if I think about it, I'll attach a photo at the end of these videos today just so you guys can see how cute it is. We call him Herman the ermine is kind of, or Hermie the Ermie for short. We've kind of named him. And it's kind of cute. We have a lot of neighbors that are very interested in him. Again, like I said, he eats. His favorite thing to eat is mice. And so further down our road, right when you pull onto our road, there's a doctor and his wife that have a cabin. And the other day they showed up with mice from their mice traps to feed the ermine. Because my husband shares photos of different stuff that happens on the lake, just so some of our neighbors can enjoy the wildlife too when they're not around. And so they stopped by, and the older lady that kind of lives still in our bay but on a different road, she stopped by also, and she called me the other day just to see how Herman was doing. So it's kind of cute. And then this morning, our other neighbor that lives past us, he also stopped to watch the ermine play in the yard. Just because, like I said, my husband was out there giving him a mouse, and he gets all excited. So he gets kind of hyper and runs around and puts on a little show. So that's really cute. I think once I glue that on the top of there, I'll just hold it up so you guys can kind of check it out. And then this side, we have the pretty lady. So let's add something to her. Kind of see what kind of little bridal trim remnants I have left over. Again, we have the pretty paper clips, so I don't know that I need to do too much. That one's almost too much. Just kind of seeing if that like this one, I kind of feel like it just needs the same thing. It just needs a little flower or something. Well, I kind of like that on the top of this one. If I were just to maybe put that up there and then glue a flower again at the bottom. Just trying to see if I have any more Gisella's left of the off-white color or a different flower. I have this one too. Just vary it up from the other side. So yeah, let's put that one down with some eyelash trim. And that flower, that came off of a similar type of trim. And that one came from my old scrapbooking store that I used to visit that's now closed. She didn't have a lot of laces and trims, but she had a few nice ones. She really focused on the like scrapbookers, people that made scrapbooking pages. And then she had, you know, some rubber stamps and cutting dies and stuff. But she had a lot of fun stuff. And then her husband also worked there. You know, when he wasn't working his other job, he'd actually teach some classes. way back when I taught classes there too, way back when. More when I was in my college days. That was one of the stores I taught at. I taught at a couple different stores. So I'm thinking I might also add a label or something to the bottom of this photo. I like this one's still drying. I kind of like that look. I just want to see if I can find like a date or something more interesting than that number. But if I have to use a number, I will. What does this one say? It says drawer 687. That one does. I think I've taken out most of the dates that are in here, but you never know. Oh, here's a date. Let's use... I like the pink color of this one, but it says drawer 687. That seems kind of weird. I'd rather just put a date on this one. So we'll ink the edges and glue this one down. So that one says February 4th, 1902 on that one. Oh, I like that. And that'll look nice underneath the paper clip. I know you can't see her until you pull her out, but that's really cute. So that definitely works on that one. So I think we're done with this page then. These pages in the journal. So I'm going to put these back in the lineup. And I think also on this one, I am going to put that, I want to put this down as a topper also on this one. It's kind of like a tag topper. I'm just going to sew across the top. And I'll probably maybe sew a little eyelash trim underneath it when I'm sewing it, just so it can match up with what's down there. So I will do that off camera. So I have a couple things that I have to, no, just that one so far, right? That I have to sew down. Oh, and this one too. So I'll leave that out. And then now we're to the middle signature. And again, this side, we just had, you know, the writing space with the bridal applique up top. And this one, I don't have anything on this side. So I almost need to add something. Something of interest. Oh, here we go. So I just have a little bridal applique, and then here's like a little bow that I tied up with some tulle that came off of something. So maybe I'll put that down in the corner down here just to have something on the corner. And of course you don't have to put stuff on every single page either, but we'll see if this stays down or not, this little bow with the Fabri-Tac. If I have to dig out my hot glue gun. So then we're left kind of with the middle, and then like I said, I think we're close. We'll do a walkthrough again just of these pages together, and then I think I'm ready to sew in my signature. So that's kind of exciting. So this one we had decorated. We have a little bit of a tuck spot here, and of course we have this big tuck spot right there. We also have the pockets on the inside cover to add things to too. So yeah, I'll have to figure that out too, I guess, when maybe for the next episode, along with sewing in the signature cover. So maybe we'll sew in the cover and then add the last couple pieces of ephemera to that. Because I do have an idea for one of the pockets. I was going to do a little scrappy pad or something. And this one, what I was thinking on this side is I pulled this out the other day and didn't use it. This tag that I punched out from some scrapbooking paper pad. I think I'm going to glue this on the back of it though, just so it's a little bit more sturdy. And then we'll just ink the back of this to make it look a little more grungy. Because I want to be able to have spots to journal on. And when it was that black and white backside, that really wasn't conducive to being able to write on it, even if it was just a quick little journal entry or note or date. Just so I think that looks kind of nice, and that looks kind of cool with the this postcard on the other side. It almost makes you believe that the chandelier might be inside of there. I have like all these random tags, so I'm just going to pull out a couple that maybe would work. All right, we'll just look at what these look like in here along with this one. It'd be nice to have a couple different sizes. Like that one says things I love. That looks kind of nice. Here's like one with music notes on it. That wouldn't be bad. This is some sort of vintage advertising. These ones came from the ones that are shaped like this, again, from that scrapbooking paper pad. This one has a butterfly on it. This one has like a postcard on it. Yeah, I think I'll do those. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. So it looks like this one just maybe needs to be inked on the back side. And this one came from some sort of scrapbooking paper also. I think it was one that originally came from Hobby Lobby, one of the older brands that Hobby Lobby used to carry. We'll just kind of darken that backside. That one has ledger paper on the back of that one already. And I'm not even 100% sure if these will stay in the pocket or not once I sew them in, but we'll leave it like that for now. I think that's really cute. So then that leaves this pocket. And I pulled some stuff out. I'm not quite sure. I pulled this out a while ago that I wanted to use, and I have to try and think about exactly how I wanted to set it up. But I just pinned this on the top. This was early on in this series. We decorated this flashcard. And so I had, we used some of the tags that we decorated in here already, but this was the flashcard. And at one point I thought maybe I was going to put this in the, like the pocket that, on the inside cover. But when I did this page up here, the black and white, I thought that was really cute. So just since this is kind of the black and the cream color, I think it's going to match well. Or maybe I should have just used my scissors. So yeah, I don't know if I said or not, but it's the afternoon here. I do have my alarm set on my phone. My husband wanted me to go out fishing with him again tonight, or later tonight, you know, right before supper. So I set it so that I could go down and change into warmer clothes. But the other day when we went out fishing, we went out for a long time. And this time he's going to go out first. After he's done with taking the photos and stuff of the ermine outside, he's going to go out and drill all the holes and set up the little chair that I sit in and some different stuff. And just kind of get it going. And then I'll just go out when it's more prime time fishing. The other night when we made fish for supper, I talked him into, usually we just put a little bit of butter in the frying pan and just fry it. But I talked him into putting a breading on it and making it with like a breading on it, or you crush up the crackers and you first dip it in flour and then egg and then the crackers, and then you fry it in oil just for, usually we don't eat too many fried foods, but it just sounded good last night, just something different. So we made that and it turned out really good. So we'll have to do that again sometime. It's something that we don't want to do too often just because, again, the fried food isn't very good for you. So I was thinking somehow I would maybe layer on some sort of music sheet on here, or I also had some of the lace from the cover of the journal that we could use as a layering piece. And then I have another photograph that came from my grandma's scrapbook. No clue who the people are in there. It's probably some friends of hers. But I thought it was kind of cute. They're sitting on a car, and the gentleman obviously really likes the gal that's sitting there. And then I found, this was a punch out from something, some sort of scrapbooking paper pad. It says, "How sweet are your words?" And I thought those two just had to be paired together. So I was thinking then I would just layer these on there. Again, the inside pocket of the journal that we're working on, I had that crocheted piece that I used for the pocket. So I was thinking that actually might work for kind of a layering piece underneath there. And I'm just trying to decide if I really need any music paper, or if I just go with the lace. So I don't know. We'll just take a peek at it. Then I could add some eyelash trim underneath the sentiment. Yeah, I kind of like that. So let's run with that. So it always brings me a little bit of joy when I'm able to use some of my grandma's photos from her scrapbook. Again, I'm pretty sure I said that already in this little series, but my mom took out all the photos in the scrapbook that were like her cousins' parents and stuff like that, and she shared them with them. But all the random photos that my mom had no clue who they were, she gave the scrapbook to me to use for crafting. But just kind of fun, Makes me think of my grandma when I use bits and pieces of it. There wasn't a lot of photos in it, but well, there was of the family, but of the non-family people. So, but it just makes me think of her. So it's always a good day when you can think of a loved one that's no longer with you. I was named after her, so I mean, you guys know that my name is Julie, so her name was Julie also. So that's kind of fun. Guess I also had some tulle sitting here too. But I think that'll be too much. Maybe, I wonder if I put the tulle underneath or it's netting, not really tulle, but it's netting from some wedding dress that I took apart. Yeah, I might actually use the piece of that underneath the lace, or the crocheted lace that we're putting down. I always like this netting. It's so much stiffer than just the tulle. It has a little bit of stiffness to it. And I think I'm going to have to switch here to the Fabri-Tac for the trim. The little crocheted bits that I'm going to glue down. I don't think the tacky glue will hold it in place. I always think layering up on tags is kind of a fun little project to do. It's also a great way, I think, to just get rid of your bits and pieces that are sitting on your desk. See if this piece of eyelash trim is long enough. It's probably close enough just to add a little bit of extra. Oh, I know. We could actually add eyelash trim. Let's add eyelash trim behind the photo. Let's do that instead. So we'll just glue this one down. I am going to ink the edges real quick of the photo just to make them look even older. I think all these photos were taken probably right around either before or kind of during World War II. I also have a scrapbook from my grandma that that has like cards and letters that she got back from people that were in the war. My grandma wasn't married yet during that time period, and I think she was heavily looking for a husband. Let's just put it that way. So she had lots of letters from different people in her town. A lot of gentlemen callers. I think she had quite a few gentlemen that were interested in her. So sometimes it's kind of kind of interesting reading because they were just from the people that sent her stuff. So, I mean, you can only, I can't read what she wrote to them, but just, how some of them were like, hopefully you'll wait for me, those kind of things, but she had more than one suitor at the time. So, and she didn't end up with any of those ones that were writing the letters. But they're kind of fun to read. I don't know that I'll ever add those types of things into a journal or not. I know my mom gave me the scrapbook because they were, none of them were like family or anything. And she's like, well, you can use them if you want, but I just still think it's kind of fun because they were, writing letters to my grandma. So, or cards or postcards, those kind of things. I do also have, some, and then towards the end of the war, I think my grandma did get married, and then my grandpa was shipped off, but to World War II. So I do have like some Valentine's Day cards. I had the ones that my grandma sent to my grandpa, and then also ones that my grandpa sent to my grandma for that kind of first year after they had a baby together, and also Valentine's Day cards and anniversary cards and stuff from that year that he was gone. So those are kind of fun to read. I actually have those just sitting in a little basket in my craft room, since I decorate my craft room kind of as a vintage flea market style. I kind of use those as decor, but like I said, I'll probably never use those in any of my crafting, unless I were to scan them in or something, which I'm not very good at all that digital stuff. I can print off digitals that other people make, but for me to to do them, I don't know if I'm that ambitious. But it's kind of fun to have stuff that was my grandma's, the grandma that I was named after. And I was actually named after both of my grandmas. My middle name's also my other grandma's name. So that's always kind of fun. And then our family's also fortunate to have my grandpa on the other side, my dad's dad. He also was in the war, but he also, as a young boy, was in the CCC. And I think at that time that was a program that helped, families that were struggling. And so young kids could go and work and learn how to work and stuff. And they get paid for it, and their funds would go back home to their parents to help with stuff. And so my grandpa was part of that. And so he did that, and then they also kind of made him a leader in that. So he was in it a lot longer than most kids, just because my grandpa was really smart, and so he learned quite a bit. And so he has his little journals too. He had like a 5-year diary, which is kind of cool because each page, it was the same date, so it'd be like January 1st of every year. But then there was like it was separated out into 5 different years, and there's just 3 or 4 lines for each year. So if my grandpa had something to say on that day, he wrote, you know, whatever was going on or what he did that day, or stuff like that. So that was, you know, his is kind of fun. My dad and his brothers are actually trying to like scan in all the photos of that and do some stuff with that. So just so everybody in the family can have some of those pieces. Ooh, I like that. That's so cute. And this one too, I don't know. Don't know if I want to put, that's going to bulk it up too much. I kind of want to put something up there, but this one's really nice piece that I got from Gisela, but it's very thick. So I kind of want to put a little bridal applique or something up there without adding too much bulk. So maybe I'll just, I really want just the flowers right there. Again, this applique came from a Happy Mail swap that I did with someone, I think it was in Judy's group, the Decoupage and More on Facebook group. And it might have actually even came from Judy, or I also got some from a couple other ladies. I got some nice appliques too. So it could have been Wendy or Wendy, I think were maybe the most likely two that I got it from. So whichever of you guys gave it to me, thank you so much. Or if it was someone else, thank you. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna add that on the top. So that's kind of cute. And I did have this little item that I created, and I think I also did this with a Smash That Small paper pad collab that I cut out a ton of tags and I glue on postage stamps, and I added like miscellaneous stuff that came from my stash. And I was thinking about adding it, like if I took out a eyelet and I kind of added it there just to hang off the top. So let me grab my eyelets and we can do that. I thought they were higher up on my desk, but they're actually not too far. So I actually have a black eyelet, so that'll be perfect. I might see if I have a longer piece of like tatting to add instead of that little piece, or I might leave that on there. A while back can't remember where I was, out of town, maybe one of my cousins that got married or something, and I went with my parents because my husband wasn't able to go, and we stopped at a ton of little rummage sales on the way. And one of them had some like vintage tatting. It's kind of falling apart, some of it. And I think, actually, I think it was like an estate sale, and I think the lady just ended up giving it to me because there wasn't a price tag on it or anything, and I bought a couple other little things, and she just thought that she, you know, it had seen better days. I actually put it in, I actually washed it in some, like, Ivory dish soap because it had a little bit of an odor to it. And I just figured, you know, it's already kind of falling apart, so it doesn't really matter if I cut it up. This one keeps on jumping out at me. I have this one too, but this a little bit lighter colored one, unless I leave. This one's just a remnant already. But anyways, I was excited when I found the little tatting at this estate sale. I can still remember the little house that we went through, and it was pretty well picked over what was left, because I think it was like day 2 or 3 of whatever the estate sale was. But it's always fun to come across stuff like that when you're out thrifting. So yeah, I kind of like that with that little extra tatting added to it. And we'll just hook that into the eyelet. You can also make little tags like this. It's easy to add, like if you tie a bow to the top of a tag or something. I just thought this one would be fun, just kind of peeking over, if I can get it to lay right. Just peeking out right there on the tag. All right, so I think that's everything that I'm going to do today. I will do a walkthrough of the pages tomorrow. And then also, we can start, I think, working on assembling the journal, sewing in the signature, and then we'll make a last couple minute things to stick into the pockets of the inside of the journal cover. So, thank you again, everybody, so much for watching today, and hopefully I'll see you back again tomorrow for another episode. Until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.